Welcome to Math Teacher Institute Storytime, where I and other educators will be sharing our experience teaching around the world with you. Today I have a great story about the time I taught literal 21st century princesses. Come on in. If you're a teacher who has an amazing or interesting story that you'd like to share with our community, please click the link in the description below and you might be featured on another episode of Math Teacher Institute Storytime. Also, I just want to mention that for all of you listening, please feel free to engage in the comments, but please make sure to engage in a positive and respectful way. The purpose here is to learn and grow together and share in a positive way, so please no negativity in the comments. Thanks. In 2013, my wife and I had the amazing opportunity to move to Al Ain, a city in the United Arab Emirates. Now, you may not know those places, but you probably have heard of Dubai and Abu Dhabi, the two most famous cities in UAE. The school we worked at was owned by a member of the royal family, and like most schools in the region, were separated by gender beginning in grade 5. So the girls went to the girls' school, the boys went to the boys' school. Now, most of the teachers in the boys' school were men with a few women, and all of the teachers in the girls' school were women until I came along. The students were separated by gender, mostly due to cultural and religious considerations that are pretty common in the region, but still exist in schools all over the world, including in the Western world. Now, our particular school was mostly catered toward wealthy local families, but also included some foreign families as well. Going into my third year teaching at the school, we were launching the IB Diploma program, which, as you know, is a very challenging and rigorous program. And unfortunately, the administration was having a lot of difficulty finding a high-quality math teacher to teach in the girls' school, a female math teacher. And so the decision was proposed to me to consider maybe I could teach the girls in the girls' school. And up to this point, there had never been a man teaching in the girls' school. So this was a pretty unique situation, but was made with the eye in mind of what would be best for these girls and giving them the best possible teacher. And thankfully, everyone from the highest level of the school and ownership down through the parents were approached and were told about this, and all of them agreed that this was the best possible decision, even though it was a little bit unusual for their culture, that everyone wanted to focus on giving the girls the best possible teacher they could, and this is what the decision was made. And next thing I knew, I was a teacher in the girls' school. So one of the purposes of the girls' school was that once the girls went inside the school, they could take off their shaylas, which was their hair covering, and just kind of move around normally because they were around only women. Now, women in this culture don't show their hair to any men who are not a part of their family, so this was kind of a little enclave for them where they could kind of be normal, right? And so I, as a man teaching in the girls' school, created a little bit of an issue with this. So they found some creative solutions to allow the normal functioning of the school to continue while also accommodating me being a teacher there. So to accommodate me, what they did is they actually turned the principal's office, which was outside of the main part of the school in like the lobby area, into my classroom. So instead of me going into the girls' school, the girls would come out of the main part of the school, put on their shaylas to cover their hair and their abayas over their uniform, and would come into my classroom, which came complete with full-time monitoring via surveillance camera, and had a secretary, a local woman, outside, always just listening and making sure that everything was fully above board in my class. So my first day teaching in the girls' school comes, and everything seems to be going pretty normally. Students come in, I'm starting to take attendance, until there are two students who I just can't seem to find their names on my roster. And it's a pretty small school, so it's pretty unusual for that kind of thing to happen. And they quickly explained to me kind of sheepishly that, oh, well, you really should look for my name under the S's, even though their name didn't start with an S, and that was because their names were listed under Sheikha. Well, Sheikha means princess in Arabic. These were two actual princesses, two members of the royal family that I was going to be teaching, and who, totally shocked me on that first day by saying, oh, by the way, we're princesses. And I was not prepared for that, but turned out to be a really interesting and amazing experience. In all honesty, they were pretty much like any other teenage girls, stronger in some areas, weaker in others, did most of their homework, and we had a great class. And of course, I, as a teacher, treated them like any of my other students. But there were some little quirks that came along with teaching literal royalty. For one, They both arrived to school every morning in stretch limousines, separate stretch limousines, every day. And that was pretty unusual. And also, if there were any issues that we needed to convey back to their families, we didn't call their parents, we called the palace to let them know. It was a great experience to be able to teach both the boys and the girls separately. I taught both of them the same lessons, we did the same activities, they both did very well, and we had a number of girls earn their IB diplomas. One of the reasons I like to share this story is because I don't think it's totally fair that unfortunately this whole region gets kind of grouped into one stereotype together regarding girls' education. Now, I can't speak for all the countries and all the cultures there, but in my experience in UAE, girls' education was definitely prioritized just as much as boys' education, and I was really proud to have been a part of that. And it was great to work in a system that not only prioritized education for girls, but that had women in roles of leadership. Our head of school was a local Emirati woman, and we also had women in leadership as principal and as the head of curriculum for our network of schools. And it was great that the girls could see these strong, powerful, educated women in positions of leadership around them. If they hadn't told me, I probably would have never known that these students were princesses. And it was a great reminder of me to always focus on equity and equality among all of my students. Once again, if you have a unique or interesting teaching story, no matter where you are in the world, and you'd like to share with our audience, please click the link in the description below. If you have any questions about my time teaching in the Middle East, please feel free to post them in the comments below, and I'll make sure to try to get back to you.